Hi, scholars. My name is Miss Smullen, and I'm going to be guiding you through the visual arts lesson meant for grades 3 through 5. This week is a really exciting week. We're going to be working with collage. Collage is a type of art that assembles different materials like papers and magazines, sometimes fabric or string, and puts all these materials together to create a new work of art. Today during table time, I'll guide you through how to make a collage. We're also going to be exploring the theme of what are you reaching for? Let's talk a little bit about our theme before we get started on our artwork. What do you think of when I say reach for something? Could it be something as simple as reaching for a snack? That's really tasty. Or maybe you're reaching for a pencil to do your schoolwork. But do you always have to be reaching for an object or an item? What other things that are not objects can you reach for? Perhaps you're reaching for a goal or reaching for a special feeling or reaching to a loved one for a hug. What kind of things do you reach for in your life, and what kind of goals do you have for your future? These are things we're going to have to consider while we make our collage under the theme of what are you reaching for? Let's sit down for some table time and I'll walk you through this exciting project. Hello friends, and welcome to table time. You'll see that today I have my table set up to make a collage. A collage is a type of artwork that assembles different materials and puts them all together to create something new. For today, you will need the following materials: a pair of scissors, any type of glue or tape, a marker or pencil, some magazines or colored paper or things you find in the mailbox. You'll also need 2 pieces of paper. These 2 pieces of paper, you need to make sure that they are big enough that you can fit your hand on the page. And they can be white, or you can use a piece of colored paper if you like. Let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is to create a collage on the first piece of paper that shows what you are reaching for. So notice what I'm doing as I reach for my scissors. Reach for the scissors and reach for a magazine or papers and find things that represent what you are reaching for. In my example, I'm reaching for happiness for my family and friends. So I've gone through the magazines and I've found some pictures of things that make me think of family and happiness. So I found a picture of a dog, a picture of a home, some flowers that I think would make me very happy, and a picture of a family. I've also found different patterns and textures that make me think of happiness. So the first thing you're going to do for your collage is make an interesting background that shows your theme of what you are reaching for. So to do this, I would start with some of your bigger pictures first and glue them down on your background. Now I want to show you a good way to use this kind of glue so you don't make a mess. When I want to glue this down, I always like to remember dot, dot, not a lot. I'm going to put dots around the paper, no lines of glue, and then I'm going to use my finger to smooth the glue out so that all my edges are stuck to the background neatly. This can get a little messy, so after you do this step with your finger, you might want to wash your hands. Once my glue is spread out, I can flip it over and use my hand to smooth it onto my background. The rest of my items of my collage, I'm going to assemble onto the paper and layer them to make something new. So maybe I want it to look something like this. What did you notice that I did? I layered the pictures onto the background and I planned out what it would look like before I glued. After I have a good plan, I can start gluing. After I've glued down all my items on my collage, you're going to want to let it dry for a few minutes. So I'm going to put this background to the side, and I'm going to get an example that I made earlier. This example is a little bit bigger, so it should be a little bit easier to see. This collage deals with reaching for being an all-star basketball player. So you can see that a lot of the images that I layered are players that are playing basketball. It also shows some of the sports drinks that basketball players drink. And it also says some words that have to do with reaching this goal. You can see it says dedication right here. Because if you want to reach for your goal, you're going to have to be dedicated. Let's move on to step number 2. The second step after you've built your collage is to flip your paper over and then pretend that you are reaching for something on the other side of your paper and freeze. After you've reached and freeze, then you're going to get a pencil or a marker and you're going to very carefully trace the shape of your hand. Now you should have the shape of your hand on the back and your amazing collage on the front. The next thing we're going to do is reach for our scissors, and we're going to very carefully cut out our hand. Try to follow the lines as closely as you can, but if you have trouble, that's okay, because this will be on the back of your artwork. So you're just going to cut this whole thing out. After you've cut out your hand, you can take the extra part of your project and put it to the side. Now, when you flip over your hand, you should see parts of your collage that show the things that you want to reach for. The last step of this project is to put your collage hand on a background. You could choose your other white piece of paper from the beginning of the project, or you could choose a colorful piece of paper you might find, and you're going to glue this to the background. I think for this example, I'm going to use the white side. So I'm going to glue down my hand. When you're gluing this down, make sure you push all the edges down so it's nice and flat. I'm starting to find that I'm almost complete with my artwork that shows things that I'm reaching for. Now, to finish your artwork, the last step could be to add interesting things to the background. Maybe you want to go through the magazine some more and find a few things to put back here. Or you can get the scrap you have from where you cut out your hand, and you could cut out interesting shapes from the rest of your collage. So I might cut out circles from this collage because a circle is the shape of a basketball, and that would fit into my theme, and I could glue that down. So if you want, you can decorate the rest of your background with shapes that you cut out from the remaining part of your collage. Now you can see I've created a collage that represents what I am reaching for. Great work at table time, friends. We worked together to think about the things we were reaching for, and we made some amazing collages that represent those things that are important to us. Now, before we leave today, I'd like to ask you 3 questions about your artwork. So you're going to need a pencil and a piece of paper, and you'll need your artwork close at hand so you can refer to it for your answers. If you'd like to get a grown-up at home help you write down these questions, that might be a good idea. Are you ready? Here's your first sentence starter. Number 1. What I am reaching for is... As you answer the first sentence starter, I want you to think about your collage and what you are trying to show. So as a review, number 1 is, what I am reaching for is... Let's move on to number 2. Now that you've identified what it is you are reaching for, the second sentence starter is, what I am reaching for is important to me because... Please finish this sentence. The last sentence starter is number 3. You can tell my project is successful because... In this sentence starter, I want you to consider the things you did really well in your art project and share them. After you've completed all 3 sentence starters, you've completed this week's assignment. I hope you had fun working on collage together. I know I did. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye, scholars!